April 1st, 2026, and today's video is kind of impromptu. So I look outside the front window. I was sitting on the front porch and I looked over at one little area that I have on the property. It's kind of overgrown. I did a little bit of a landscaping when I first moved in, kind of let it go after that, kind of went wild. But in there I had two galvanized metal half barrels, whatever you want to call it, probably about 12 to 15 inches deep. I think I put some flowers in there when we first moved in, and then kind of just, it got overrun. But I looked at them and I said, why aren't they in the garden growing me food? So that's what they're gonna do. But what we're gonna do with them is what I'm gonna kind of call a modified Hügelkultur. And I'm not overly well versed in Hügelkultur, but what I do know about it is, I think the translation is technically like hill culture. As a growing method, basically my understanding is you have a really big log. Let's say a tree falls down, you trim the branches off, you get it nice and straight, level, clean. You dig a trench, moving the soil off to the side. You put that trunk in the trench, and then you, over top of that trench, put the soil back and you plant into that. Over time, the microbes are going to break down that tree, thereby continue to feed the soil, feeding your crops, etc., etc. So I've had no interest in doing this in the past because I'm on a really heavy clay soil here, so I never really wanted to dig it up to put it on top of a log and then try to plant into it. But I can see the appeal of it. What I'm going to do today is like I said, a modified version of that with some debris that I had from when I was cutting logs from a tree that went down. A lot of the log, it was kind of a dead tree-ish, so the trunk that kind of wrapped around it, the bark, excuse me, was all falling off. And I had a pile of it, and I said, what am I going to do with that? And I'm like, you know what? I got these steel barrels. Let's go ahead and throw them in the bottom, throw some shredded compost in the top, plant into them, and see what happens. So that's what we're going to do. Let's see what we got. So here are the two barrels I was talking about. They look to be probably about 2 feet wide by just maybe over a foot deep, maybe a little bigger. Not that concerned, but what I've got in here, like I said, the bark that kind of split off from the tree that I was chopping up, that's going to be the base layer. So imagine that's kind of the log that I was talking about that's on the ground, and you're going to put soil over top. But instead of soil, I'm going to be using this. And this is nothing more than some shredded compost. I had in a previous video I talked about the fact that I had some semi-decomposed compost that had a good color but was physically very intact because it wasn't shredded prior to going into the pile. And I ran it through my shredder, and this is what it created. So this is what's going to go over top. I'm going to water that in, and then we're going to go ahead and I think I'm going to put some carrots in there. I've got a couple different varieties that I'm thinking about. I'm thinking Black Nebula in this one, and maybe Lunar White in this one. Lunar White I've had luck with. Black Nebula I didn't really do too well with, but I've got the seed. They're going to go bad if I don't use them. I don't want to waste garden space for these two varieties because frankly I'm just not thrilled with the varieties. But I do think I want to use these bins for something. And because they've got a lot of space that carrots can tap into, I think that's going to be what I'm going to go with. So let's get cracking. So step one is going to be, I'm going to throw the shredded compost on top of this. I'm going to try to get pretty close to the top of the line. I'm going to water it in with a couple of watering cans, probably about 4 gallons worth of water to settle it in. And then I think I'm going to surface sow the carrot seeds and then put more of the shredded compost right on top and just give them a chance to kind of power through that watering in a second time. And I think that's what I'll do for both of these. All right, I think I'm good with that height for the surface, so I'm going to go ahead and water that in, get my carrot seeds, sprinkle them on, put another layer of the compost on, water that in, and then we'll call it. And hopefully the camera doesn't overheat in the meantime because we're 80 plus degrees now in the sun, and my phone is black in color, and that likes to get burned out pretty fast. Black Nebula. One thing I don't like about this, well, two things I don't like about this one. One, it bolted on me when I tried to plant it 2 seasons ago in the spring, before it really finished out well. It'll probably do that again now, but what the hey, like I said. And then the second thing, and this is more of a purple vegetable variety, it does bleed. So when you cut it on a cutting board, you're gonna make a mess. That being said, gotta be ridiculously healthy with that coloring. A lot of anthocyanins. So we're gonna call it there before the phone overheats. I will do lunar white on my own time in the next couple of minutes. Will these things do well in there? I don't know. Am I banking on it? Probably not. How well will that material support growth? Probably not great, but maybe okay. I think the seeds are still viable right now, but really the seeds deserve a chance to go. Too many seeds, I think, have a tendency to wind up sitting in packs, and before they get into the garden, they wind up going, they wind up aging out and dying. And I'd rather that not happen with these. Plus my carrot germination in my actual beds hasn't been good this year, so I get some carrots this way. And a cool thing is, I'll do some thinning if let's say I do get great germination. I will do some thinning. Probably an inch, inch and a half, 2 inches between each carrot. And in a space that size, I mean, eyeballing, if I can get like 40 good carrots out of each bed, that's 80 carrots. A carrot a day, and that's 2.5 months worth of carrots. A pretty good return on the investment that you just saw me put in as far as effort goes. I had the shredded compost. I'm repurposing some bins. I've got the that tree bark to go at the bottom, and you know, a few gallons, about 6 gallons of water in each one to get started. What I am going to do, I think, is put a good sized piece of cardboard over top each one of them and weigh it down with a few bricks, just to see if I can keep some of that moisture trapped in, so I don't have to keep coming out here and dumping more water on there. Covers on carrot beds I found do work pretty well if you can get one that's not going to blow away. So I would encourage you, if you've never researched Hügelkultur, to take a look at it. It's a fascinating topic. In your context, it may work better than it does in mine. Like I said, I wouldn't want to dig clay out and put that over top of a downed tree, but I can see the appeal of it to continuously feed your the soil on top and feed your plants. So it may work for you, and who knows, maybe this is just a good way in general for people to fill up the bottom of raised beds. As long as your organic matter on the top side of it is rich enough to feed your plants, it gives the stuff below it a chance to decompose further down. I've seen it done online before, and it seems to be a promising method. So over the next couple months with the garden tours, we'll see how well this turned out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And a postscript to the video, I found some cardboard and these 2 ceramic pots to put over top. Filled them up with some of that compost, and yes, since they're there, they've got to get a seed in them, so I put early globe scarlet radish seeds in both of them. And before you ask, no, I'm not going to put cardboard over top of them and put yet another layer on. I'll just have to remember to water those in on a regular basis and make sure that they get they stay damp. And that should contain enough moisture into those carrots that I don't have to water them on too much of a regular basis, but we'll see. So appreciate you sticking to the end. Thanks for watching, and like I said, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.